Eventually, social media, you know, that stuff's gonna fade. That social media is not there and that fades away. That's not something, you don't want to only just depend on that, because when you do, what else are you gonna have? There's gonna be nothing else there for you. So it's good to have something that's yours, that you're passionate about, that you can develop, you can grow, you can progress with, that's outside of technology. I think it's really, really, really important. I definitely believe that 100%, and that's what I'm doing for myself. Unfortunately, nowadays, technology is the base of almost everything, and everything we do and how we get around and stuff like that. But there are ways that we can just kind of separate a little bit and kind of go back to like old school, I guess you put it. I mean, a number of things. It could be traveling, but not necessarily traveling and documenting it for the world. It's doing it for you, going and experiencing things. I don't know, picking up a new hobby, picking up something new, you know, coloring, drawing, salsa dancing, I don't know. It can be anything. It's not anything one specific. You have to find that for yourself. I didn't even completely, you know, separate from social media, but just by backing off a little bit, it was hard. You guys probably noticed that my posting has kind of diminished a little bit, and there's a reason why. And it's not because I don't want to do what I'm doing. It's one of those things, is when you have a lifestyle, doesn't matter, it can go for anything. What you do, the changes you make, it's a lifestyle. It's not temporary. I thought about like taking breaks from social media for an extended period of time, but it's just temporary. Like what is that going to do for you? I was like, I really have to make some changes, and they have to be lifestyle changes. Like, otherwise I'm going to keep continuing down the path I am. I'm going to get burnout. I'm going to start, you know, and I'm going to get to the point where I might just end up being like, screw it, I don't want to do this anymore, and just cut and dry, you know, and I don't want that. So I was like, I really have to make some big changes. I still want to be bringing you guys great content. I want to share you guys. I still want to be like empowering and inspiring and motivating all of you. I was like, how am I going to do this? And all it was just finding a new balance. And it didn't mean completely cutting myself off and just not providing anything on social media anymore. It was just taking a step back and doing a little bit less, like picking and choosing times that I do spend on social media, not stressing myself out. I remember I was doing 4 videos a week on YouTube. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, when you're doing it yourself, that is stress. You're recording and editing and then trying to get it up in a timely manner. I don't know how I did it for the time I did, but I couldn't do it anymore. I almost wanted to just delete YouTube all in general, because that's how burnout I got, and that's what I did to myself. So I was just like, oh my gosh. I had to make changes. That I needed to be at my business more. My gym and my supplement shop needed me there more. My employees needed me there more. And I couldn't be spending all this time on social media. I got really busy, of course. Then I had the dog situations. I'm going to still do YouTube videos, but I'm not going to do 4 a week. And that's okay. And I had to have that talk with myself and be okay with that. So I backed it off to I try to do at least 1 video a week and still bring you guys great content. Same thing with Instagram. I felt like I had to post something every single day, and it would stress me out. Because if I was busy and I was doing something else and I forgot about a post, I would stress myself out. Oh my God, what am I gonna post? What am I gonna say? And I'd be like, ah! And then I would do a post and it would just be kind of crappy, I guess. I don't know. I didn't feel good about it because it was a forced thing. And I feel like in life, you shouldn't have to force things. You should want to do them and enjoy doing them. And I felt like everything I was doing was being more forced after I'd been doing it for so long. It came down to, I was like, you know what? Don't stress. If you don't want to post something today, don't post something today. And so sometimes I won't post something 3 days in a row, you know? And I feel so much better because now when I do post things, they're more real and they're more raw, and I actually enjoy doing it. Same thing with Snapchat. I mean, I used to be like, Snapchat, oh my God, everything I do. But then it was the same thing. I get busy. I can't be like on my, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to do that stuff, and I couldn't be on my phone Snapchatting all the time. Plus, if I'm spending time with somebody, they don't want me to be like Snapchatting them. One thing you have to learn in my position with the amount of people that follow me, my friends and family don't want a lot of random people either following them or seeing them. You know, a lot of people really, really like their privacy, and I respect that. So that's why you guys see mostly just me all the time. Unless you're with somebody who does the same exact thing as you, it's different. Or if somebody enjoys being in that kind of spotlight. You have to respect people and their privacy, and so it was just one of those things that I had to make a lot of changes, and I wasn't just going to talk about them anymore, and there weren't going to be just temporary changes. I actually needed to make real changes, and they needed to be lifestyle changes, and they needed to progress that way. You guys know I recently got into, about 8 months ago, I got into jujitsu. I can't tell you, words can't even describe what jujitsu has been for me. It's been such a positive thing in my life. I don't know what I would do without it right now, and it's actually the first thing that I have in my life that's just for me. It's just for myself, because, you know, I post some things about jujitsu, but I don't do a lot of it. You guys don't see a lot of it because for the first time, I have something for myself that I don't have to be sharing to every single person and documenting every single moment. But it's nice to actually have something that's just for me, that I can actually disconnect from everything else, be separate, and enjoy what I'm doing at that moment. And it's taught me a lot of things too. That carries, not only, it's not even just on the mats, it carries off the mats into real life. So a lot of stuff I've learned in jiu-jitsu, not even mentally and physically, have carried into my everyday life. I probably have noticed I've been less worried about what I look like my hair, doing my hair all the time. I don't have makeup on all the time. You guys remember how I used to do makeup? I love makeup, don't get me wrong. I love doing it, but it gets old. Having to do it all the time, taking the time for it. You know, I took my eyelashes off. I don't even have nails anymore. I want to be in a different place in my life, and I want to I want to have inner peace, and I want to have happiness with myself. And I believe life is about, we're meant to grow. We're meant to experience life. And I'm not talking about being on your phone and becoming a social media influencer. I'm talking about experiencing real things, real time, in person. You know, we're meant to have connections with real human beings, not human beings through social media. You know, more to life than just being on your phone and recording all the time. And hence why I've taken a step back. Lesson that is because I actually, you know, you don't get younger, you keep getting older. I'm not old by any means, but I'm gonna be 32 this year, and time flies by, and I don't want to look back on my life and look at, I spent a chunk of time just being on the internet all the time. I may have accomplished a lot with that, but what else have I accomplished, you know, with myself, like personally? And what have I experienced, you know? And it's just, I think it's about finding those things too. You know, I never thought I'd be into jiu-jitsu. I mean, I always did Muay Thai and stuff, but we've had jiu-jitsu, and Zach's been doing it for like 6-7 years. I've always been around it, but I was like, yeah, jiu-jitsu. But one day I was like, man, I want something real and raw, and just, I want to, you know, and I just went, I'm gonna do it, and I'm so glad I did. But I think that's what life is about. It's about actually like connecting with real things and making progress outside of the social media world, like actually having goals for yourself. So many of us get so wrapped up in just being on the phones and getting our routine. We go to work, we work out, we maybe go shopping, we maybe, you know, we eat, we sleep, we watch movies. A lot of us get really sucked into TV. We have our shows. We check our social media constantly throughout the day. And that's what we do day in and day out. And a lot of you probably really are very unhappy people. You're not happy with what you're doing. You might feel miserable unless you're doing those things, unless you're busy with those things. When you're actually sitting by yourself without any of that, you are probably really miserable. I mean, I don't know if a lot of you can agree with me, but I felt that way. I would be like sitting there just by myself when I wasn't on my phone and I wasn't out traveling somewhere. I'd be sitting there going, oh my God, like I don't feel good. Like, why don't I feel, what is this feeling of emptiness? Like, what's going on? And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means you're telling yourself that you want more out of life than what you're doing. I started picking times that I get on my phone, and it's only a certain time of day. It could be, you know, it changes depending on how the day is, but I only get on my phone for maybe an hour or so. I'll check things, I will, you know, comment back, I'll respond to stuff, and I'll only do it within the hour. I don't spend all day checking my phone, constantly getting on it, checking it, updating it, you know. I'll make a post. If I make a post, say in the morning, I won't check it until my social media time, maybe in the evening. So a lot of you probably noticed sometimes I don't respond back right away. It's because of that. And I believe for my own self, I don't know if a lot of you would agree with me or not, but you need that disconnection. You need to spend time with yourself and actually connect with real things and real people. And I also now, instead of always just looking at people's social media profiles, what I'll do is I won't go browse. I'll actually pick up my phone and I'll call the people that I am curious of what's going on in their life. And I started doing that because I got out of doing that. So I actually call people and I talk to them, and I've been doing that. And or, you know, I'll send them text messages just to let them know I'm thinking of them. But if I actually want to have a conversation, I'll actually either call them or meet them in person. You know, because I do run a business and a lot that takes up a lot of my time. I have certain times of day that I do emails and I do various different things like that. But you know, it's about a balance, and I had to make a lot of changes. And I found that the less time I was spending on my phone, it was freeing, really freeing, and it gave me a lot more free time to really accomplish more things with myself or with our business, spend more time with Zach, or spend time with more friends and family, spend more time with the poopies. I'm really happy with that. It took me a long time to really be okay with it, to get out of the habit I was, because I had adapted. I was so used to that lifestyle of just being on my phone all the time and just checking in on everything on there instead of really connecting with people, and it was depressing. Like, I literally got depressed. I'm gonna be straight out there and honest with you guys. It was a new challenge for me, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get over it. I'm gonna learn from it. I'm not gonna let it get me down, and I'm not gonna let it take over my life and control my life. I am going to figure out how to get through this, and I did. And I created a new habit, and I created a happier and healthier habit. I'm just sharing this with you guys because a lot of us, we just get consumed by what we're doing, habits, and they could be good habits, they could be bad habits. And one thing I've come to realize is I really cherish my privacy and I really cherish my alone time. We all need that. We need time to disconnect. I actually started out here where I live. You know, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so we have neighbors, but there's like forests of trees separating us. I don't live in a big city, and I probably never will. But I go out on our roof, and you can see like a valley, and you can just watch the sunset, and you can just see all the trees and the mountains, and it's just beautiful. You guys seen I posted videos and pictures about it before. And I'll spend an hour out there. I'll leave my phone in here. Maybe I'll go take a picture and then I'll bring my phone back in. But then I'll go up and I'll be on the roof. And sometimes me and Zach will do it together, and we just sit there. We don't even talk. We just stare at the stars. We just stare at everything and just really take in energy. And I don't know about you or a lot of you, but when I spend time outside and I actually disconnect from technology stuff, I just feel so refreshed. I just feel so happy and rejuvenated after I've spent that time. And I try to make a point of doing it every single day. One thing that's gonna sound really funny to you guys is me and Zach actually don't have TV at our house. We have movies. We don't even get internet. I actually tried to get it once, and it was a cable. It was terrible. So I ended up, I use my phone as a hotspot for my laptop if I need to do email stuff. And I like it. I like coming here because it kind of forces you to not be on that stuff. You actually disconnect. And it's nice. wanted to share that with you guys, that, you know, there are goods and bads to social media and technology and being consumed by that. And I know from experience that I got way too consumed, that I started letting it interfere with everything in my life. It was interfering with my own relationship with Zach and my friends and family, and you know, they mean so much to me. They matter to me more than anything else, and you know, I was willing to make sacrifices to keep those relationships strong. There's some people that truly love doing something like this. They really do. But I'm just telling you from my own experience that I just found it was just something that was consuming my life, and most of it ended up being negative for my own self. It wasn't anybody was doing this to me. I just kind of had a realization, and I was like, I'm actually like not happy on the inside with a lot of things, and I didn't want to continue on that direction. And I always tell people, you know, I have some people who want to become social media influencers. They want to build their following. First question I always ask them is, are you sure? Not only the responsibility, but I explain to them, you make sure you always keep a balance. Make sure you're always doing things for yourself, and that is separate from social media. Make sure you have goals for yourself, because you can let, you know, you end up doing everything you do ends up being for the social media, and it ends up being for the following. And that's what happens. Like you stop doing things for yourself, you stop giving to yourself, and you stop giving where it needs to be giving. Like and I did that with myself. So it was a year of kind of like, I needed to reconnect with myself and kind of reestablish like where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. I mean, you guys that have been following me for a while, you've seen a lot of changes with myself and my social media and how I've been doing things, and that's the reason why. Because I wanted a different direction. I still wanted to keep doing what I was doing, but I wanted a different direction. I needed to start doing more things for myself because I was becoming unhappy with myself. And it happens to anybody, and it can even happen to people that aren't on social media. It can happen in a lot of different other cases, but in my case, this was what I had experienced and what I was going through. And you know, I just think there's more to life. It's a lifestyle change. It's not a temporary thing. It's something like, if you truly are, you know, want to make a change, you have to make a change, and you have to be consistent with it. I'm gonna still continue to be here for you guys and posting stuff. It's just not gonna be the way I was doing it before, because I do need to think about myself. I do need to do things for myself too, and a lot of things do need to be separate from social media, and I don't need to be posting them all the time and sharing every little detail. It's okay to have some privacy, and you know, have a time where you can like disconnect and stay sane. You know, this life is it's not about regretting what you're doing, or if you failed or made mistakes and oh my god, you're a terrible person. It's about growing from everything you're doing and learning from it and progressing forward, always progressing forward. But if any of you are currently going through something right now that you might relate with this, hopefully that kind of has helped you and inspired you. You know, it's nice to be able to relate with somebody and know that you can get through something. And I feel a lot better than I did a year ago. I don't regret turning down the opportunities that I had, and even some of the jobs that offered a lot of money, because I believe there's more to life than money and material things. I've said this once before, I would rather be poor and with the people I love than rich traveling the world alone. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any stories you want to share, please share them. But you guys like the video if you did like it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But I love you guys. I will see you next week on the next video. What am I gonna bring you? I don't know.